Let's go.
We can talk about it, but all talking is cheap. Cause the last word is me. The last word is me. We can talk about it, but you ain't beating me. Cause the last word is me. The last word is me.
Yeah, I know.
The last word is me. The last word is me. The last word is me.
Say what?
The last word is me. The last word is me. The last word is me.
Believe that, man.
The last word.
Yeah, that's right. You got it. Last word. Welcome back to The Last Word. We got another great, exciting show for you. But before we get started, as always, we want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Today, we want to discuss the most anticipated news coming out of the NFL. Robert Saleh is on the outside looking in because he got fired. The New York Jets have told him to go home. We no longer need your services. And they brought in the defensive coordinator to take over as a head coach. Now, over the last 5 years, or 3-4 years, if that Saleh's been there, his record's been 20-36. The defense been top 5. He's actually done his job. He's done a decent job. But I think where Robert lost his team was when he allowed Aaron Rodgers to bring in all his boys. And now, as you can see, Aaron Rodgers needs a scapegoat for his poor play. What he needs to understand is, I want everyone to understand, this is my take. Aaron Rodgers, you're not Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers, you're not Peyton Manning. Aaron Rodgers, you're not the person that you've been chasing for your whole life. You're not the golden boy Tom Brady. These people have been able to go on to another team and show that they still got it and actually win Super Bowls. What do you got, Aaron Rodgers? You're going to complain, and you're going to make headlines on YouTube and all these other networks being just there talking about why you're not winning. Well, guess what? We're sick and tired of it. You're going to keep getting coaches fired, and it's not really looking good because guess what? At the end of your career, people are just going to start talking about Aaron Rodgers and you being the coach killer because you're just a 4-time MVP in this league, Super Bowl winner, and we're always discussing why you still can't get it done. Kyron, I'll tell you this. I was sick and tired of hearing Aaron Rodgers complain about this and that. Maybe Robert Saleh is not the head coach that you want him to be, but he's done his job on the defensive end.
Hold on. You can't say he's done his job, and as the head coach, your team is constantly unable to finish 500, and like you said, his record 20-36 over his term as the head coach. No, he hasn't done his job.
Okay.
All right. If he's doing his job, that means he's a defensive coordinator, and I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of teams that are going to be interested in his services for next offseason, during the offseason. But as a head coach, you're overseer of the whole football team. Yes, you delegate, and a lot of times head coaches are not involved in a certain side of the ball. But when it's all said and done, the buck stops with you in terms of the production on the field, and his team has been lacking. Straight and simple.
So you're saying that the reason why the Jets find them in the situation they're in, which is 2-3, they could have easily been 4-1 with ifs and what's right. But if you got that quarterback play, I'm going to give you something, and maybe you can explain this. Mm-hmm. Why are Aaron Rodgers' numbers comparable to Zach Wilson's? Almost identical throughout 5 games.
I'm not backing Aaron Rodgers in terms of he's held up his end of the bargain. No, but in terms of Salah as the head coach,
okay,
yes.
Saleh had to go.
So he had to. It's easier to replace him than to try to replace your starting quarterback at this point.
But I'm thinking that he's also been the scapegoat for Aaron Rodgers' lack of good play.
Of course, and that's what is going to happen, right? When you put so much in and go all in on a guy, in this case Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't work out right, you gotta find every escape hatchet, every excuse, every justification, right, to try to keep that belief and that hope alive, especially when you've committed so much and so much belief in so much of this franchise is poured into him. And the reality is Aaron Rodgers just isn't
Good.
Aaron Rodgers. You know, that
He's a
bad man.
man.
That bad man ain't no bad man
he
no
ain't
more.
bad
He's
no
just
more.
bad.
He's a sad man right now.
And unfortunately, yeah, someone was saying that they don't have any offensive stat that is they're pretty much comparable to last season, in which they had the quarterback Cassell and they had all these wishy-washy riff-raff quarterbacks playing for them last year.
Brees Hall.
And they're no better.
Garrett Wilson, where are they?
Their play has fallen off, right? These
can't-
were guys that there was a lot of belief and hope that you would see them take that next step, right? And unfortunately, whether it's the offensive game plan, and to me at this point, I don't know why you're not leaning heavily on Brees Hall and playing off of that element of having an established, which a lot of people thought was a top 5 running back in the league.
That's what we all thought.
And now we're here wondering, where's Brees Hall? There's an element of repetition that comes as well, and that's why you hear
true.
so much chatter about
The offseason,
looking to get
preseason.
the receiver
Devontae?
Devontae Adams, right? Because again, they have those built-in repetition between him and Adams. Aaron Rodgers and
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. They have those built-in reps. They have the understanding of, hey, when the defender's showing you this, we're gonna go back shoulder, or we're gonna go. There's that natural, and Wilson and Rodgers don't have that, right? And that's why you bring in Lazar and why you look for those familiar faces
But
out
you're
there
still not
because
getting
of that
any
understanding.
production. They're still not getting the production.
Let's be honest, the guy's 40 years old, all right?
Tom Brady was winning titles at 40. That's what you don't understand.
But not everyone's built like Brady, okay?
Hey.
And again, for so much of Aaron's career, what was that special element about him? That special thing about him was being able to keep plays alive.
Right.
Being able to not explosive athleticism, but the shifty
right.
agility, the ability to slide, to roll out of the pocket and keep plays alive and create those spectacular plays. That's not happening no more. That's past tense.
The Carolina Panthers, but yeah,
there's a reason certain franchises are labeled and in that matter. And the Jets are one of those franchises that are a franchise that are cut below the rest.
So here's my thing now. Okay, so they fire Salah. They still have Hassan Reddick that still hasn't signed. It's all in or nothing.
Just stop 1 second. Just right there. Let me stop you there.
You take it.
Just look at the Hassan Reddick situation. What franchise invests in a guy, right, goes and trades for the guy with not understanding that, hey, we're going to have to pay this guy when he arrives?
He was looking for a contract. That's why
That's why he left Philadelphia. He left
looking.
the franchise that was on the cusp of potentially winning Super Bowl to go and get paid. So this team takes it upon himself to trade assets to pick up this guy and then say to themselves, we're going to try to stiff him. Huh? That just shows you. What level of franchise is this? We're talking about a bottom-feeding franchise.
So getting back to what I'm saying, they failed at Hassan.
Yep.
They fired their coach. They're 2-3. Rodgers is in the second year of his contract. It's a all or nothing season for them right now, because I'll tell you this much. After this year, if Aaron Rodgers is not winning the Super Bowl, it's a bust, and I'm of the thought that you got to move on from him.
I think privately, they potentially have to be thinking, goodness gracious, I hope he retires. You're hoping as a Jets franchise to make life easier for you as an organization that he just walks away so that you don't have to be the one to do that, so that it just piles on how terrible your decision making was. Again, what I'm hearing from you there is his career's over. Because that would mean, what, 3 years now he hasn't touched the NBA court?
I mean, it's
like
similar,
I can't imagine someone missing 3 years
of basketball and coming back as an elite level
and being an impact. If he just comes back and plays basketball, period, would be,
you know what,
that would be a
that
hell
statement
of an
that you're
achievement.
making could also be flipped if he had shown us that he was a superstar, but he never really reached his peak.
Hey, prior to the injury though, he was playing some of the best ball of his career.
Decent ball.
Let's be honest. That Bulls team was hot. Him, DeRozan, Levine were doing some good things on the court, and he was shooting his best 3-point percentage. He was a heck of a creator, pacemaker, and again that size at point guard. Hey, decent defender, a guy who can get steals and disrupt offenses. So. And he was playing really good ball, and it was interesting at that point prior to him getting hurt. And I think the Bulls were top of the conference. It wasn't a large sample size, but it was a very optimistic sample size that we saw from that trio at that point.
Well, that's fair. I still want to see it. I mean, 3 years away from basketball, and we're saying 3 years because it's not probably 3 full years, but 3 years from basketball is a fair assessment. Mm-hmm. Zach LaVine is also compromised. He's no longer going to be there. DeMar DeRozan is no longer there. What's he coming back to? Is he going to be asked upon to do too much because the talent is not on the floor? I don't know. I just want to see what he can do. If he is decent enough, let's get a trade going. Let's get him out of there and put him in a situation where he's not asked to be too much, but he can contribute to probably a winning situation. It's going to be sticky, but I haven't seen LeVar Ball talking too much since, but.
As you say this, the one thing that comes to my mind is I remember maybe it was last year when Stephen A. said that Lonzo Ball
is done. Stephen is
and then we saw the Instagram shots of
Stephen A. Who? Check your sources, Stephen A. Check your sources, Stephen A.
Trying to prove that the knee can get up on it, it can do things. But he didn't come back on the court.
And Stephen A. called it. He says, just because you can get up on one knee that's different from running up and down the court, cutting, and, jumping. Yeah, Stephen A., you're right.
Say what we want about Stephen A. at times, but
he got his sources. He got his receipts.
You might have to, hey, give the man his due on this one.
Let me give my second person I'm looking forward to seeing. It could be a contract year. I'm not too sure, but the contract is coming up soon. And I don't only want to see him. I'm sure the whole NBA world wants to see the rise, the fall, and possibly the comeback of Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets. What say ye on Ben Simmons? Personally, I don't think he's got what it takes. If he had the jump shots, he came out on media day saying, when healthy, I'm going to top this, I'm going to top that. And everybody wants to say, okay, when healthy. Anyone can fill stat sheets, man. Just let me know. Can you still play ball? Are you still decent? I mean, you're a 3-time All-Star, but man, I just don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ben Simmons still has on the tank. That's the only thing I want to see this NBA season. My Raptors don't look like they'll be doing much. It looks like the Boston Celtics also has a free path to the NBA Finals. So I just want to see key things. Ben, do you still got it?
Who has a free run to the finals?
Celtics.
You think so?
I mean, on the next segment, we'll be talking about Paul George and the 76ers.
I beg to differ on that one. I beg to differ.
I don't know. But
I beg to differ. They're talented, but
that's good talented.
I beg to differ on that one.
So that's what I want to see. Upcoming season, Ben Simmons, do you still got it? Lonzo Ball, where you at?
Hold on a second here. This smells strongly of you drinking the Ben Simmons Kool-Aid. The fact that you're interested in seeing what Ben Simmons can do this season tells me that you're getting high on the supply. Woo. Because how in the world did you fall for this, Max? You must have been going on that run of YouTube
Every
clips.
Man deserves a
you
chance.
Must have got
Every
to
man
see,
deserves a chance.
You must have been watching some of his old LSU clips, or I don't know what you've been watching, but we all know when the season ends, we all know what we're gonna see. You're gonna see some footage of Ben Simmons working out, looking buff in the gym, working out on his jump shot, hitting a few long range shots. Oh, he's developed his outside game.
He's only 28.
Oh, man, imagine what he's going to be. How old is he?
28.
28. Oh, my gosh. Still, again, in his prime, right? Still in his prime. But with the amount of injuries, believable, not believable, questionable, probable, whatever it may be. How did you fall for this foolishness? The only thing that dude is interested in is living the life. Yeah. And that's been made evident.
You know what they call him? Balenciaga Ben.
Oh gosh.
BCC Ben, PCC Ben, because he come into the court with all these flashy clothes and Balenciaga Ben, you got to show up. That's what Mace calls you, man.
They absolutely destroyed him.
you.
But it's what he's
what he's done.
built.
It's what he's done.
That's the rep he's built for himself.
So
a talented person who's never lived up to his capabilities. That will be the story of Ben Simmons. And then obviously, like Chuck Knobloch, some type of brain glitch that doesn't allow him to shoot the ball, make a layup, or even believe in himself on the court. The kid, unfortunately, his career is done. However, I won't be surprised. I believe next year is the last year on his contract.
Okay.
I have to double check that one, but I'm pretty sure of it. And I will guarantee you will see Ben Simmons on the court next year, giving you that hint and that taste and that belief that, you know what? If we bring him to our franchise, we could tell him the right words. We can get the right doctors to speak to him. We can get the right voodoo-tologist to trick him into believing he's a basketball player.
But
don't fall for it.
Guess what, Karen?
Don't fall for it.
Guess what? They will say.
There will be a sucker team.
They will tell you, don't worry, Karen. Just like Russ, we got Ben on the vet minimum. And that's what is going to be going around.
If you get him on
a vet minimum. All right, so Ben, show up or ship out. That's what we want to see. That's what I'm dying to see for this NBA year. Other than that, I don't really got too much excitement. What are you trying to find out? What are you trying to see for this year going on to the NBA?
Well,
NBC? What's exciting you so far?
I'm looking at some more relevant things than Ben Simmons.
Okay.
I'm highly interested in how this Cat Williams deal, the Cat deal works out. It on the surface it looks like a pretty good deal for both teams actually. Minnesota gets rid of the heavy pay that they are going to have to pay, they're attached to with Cat and his salary. They get to bring in another scoring power forward, yes, who, again, is versatile, a little bit of a ball stopper with Randle, but at least now you don't have to explain why your quote-unquote old franchise player is not playing in the most important minutes of the game. You don't have to no longer deal with the fact, hey, why is Cat out and Naz Reid playing in the last few minutes of games? So at least in terms of their rotation for Minnesota, this is a way better deal for them. They get DiVincenzo, another backcourt guy who can score some buckets, help out with Ant-Man. And again, we know Conley's getting long in the two, so even having that option out there to give your backcourt a little more options. And then again, a natural fit, I think, with Rudy. Rudy will be able to help out a lot of Randle's flaws and just still. And then again, Naz Reid now can play a little more influential role and allow for him to reach his full potential. As for the New York Knicks, Cat now is slotted into a better situation where he's clearly not the number one option. He's not the go-to guy. That's Brunson. And New York is built around Brunson, his attitude, his mentality. So hopefully some of that can trickle down onto Cat. However, again, you got Brunson, you got my man who just came in from Brooklyn, Bridges. You got OG again. When OG's there,
Josh Hart.
OG's a special guy when he's able to stay healthy. You got Josh Hart, right? There's a certain mentality that New York has, and Cat doesn't fit it, but hopefully some of that will find a way through osmosis to infiltrate, and he can become some element of a tougher, more physically tougher, mentally tougher player. And if it doesn't work, hey, he's the third option on the team, so really, I'm
going to say it like this.
I don't think they can lose on that one.
It was a win situation for Minnesota, 1,000%. Cat was the number one draft pick overall, right? Ant-Man was number one draft pick overall. Cat still believes that he was the main guy on Minnesota, and everybody's seen Ant-Man coming in.
He could tell himself that, but
I'm just saying, if it's in your head, it probably can affect you on the court. Now, when the trade happened, news reports that, the Ant-Man was a little bit distraught and wasn't happy too much with the trade. But I think that's just media. I think he was very happy that Cat is finally gone. You got a big man in Julius Randle that can produce the same numbers, but you can make him more disciplined. And Randle's on in his third or fourth team now. It's time to shut up and show up. Because Randle, you had a chance to do it in Lakers. You had a chance in New York. And now you're going to a small market where there's no more noise. There's no more distraction. Play some ball. And you actually could play for a title in Minnesota because they lost to, Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. So I think they actually win this trade far best. They get shooting with DiVincenzo to help in the backcourt with Ant. And they got a calm, salary friendly big man in Randle. Now,
they got that pick from Detroit, right?
And they got a pick from Detroit, which is going to turn out.
That's going to be a good pick, right?
It's going to be a great pick.